Hello, people. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed, right now, I'd like to welcome you all to this episode of Relationship Facts. And I'll call this particular show The Love Boat. Oh, it rings a bell, doesn't it? How many people are 70s and 80s babies? Because you all from the 70s and 80s would have heard about the Love Boat and probably watched it religiously and non-religiously. I'm one of the ones that watched it non-religiously, but on occasions from time and time again. Yeah, and the Love Boat was about couples getting together on that boat, and then they would form long-standing romances or relationships. And if you watched enough of the episodes, it appeared as though certain people that met on the boat went on to get married. Yeah, that boat was so magical and romantic that it sent out all that type of romantic energy, and people were getting together for one-night hookups and long-term relationships. But they didn't really emphasize on the brief hookups or one-night stands, but more so on serious relationships of it. You know, that show mostly caused a lot of people to take boat cruises. So I think it was political that way. It was like a marketing strategy to get people to go on millions of cruises. Because if you go to singles bars and clubs, you might strike out on a relationship tip. But if you go on a boat cruise for some days and you meet somebody, you might spend time with them, quite simply because you're in the middle of the ocean or someplace that has a huge body of water. So you can't just simply jump off the boat and swim 50, 60 miles home. So more or less, you'll be stuck with that person for days. But in a singles bar situation, if you irritate the woman from a guy's perspective, then she'll leave and hopefully not toss a drink in the dude's face. But on the show, like they had it, like the boat thing was like a theme where, you know, it was upbeat and party-like, and then even if you irritated the person you were trying to hook up with, eventually they would start to like you anyway. Because you're on a boat, you're on a cruise in the middle of the Pacific, you're heading to Acapulco or some tropical place like that. And then eventually people will say, well, you know, I could do far worse, so I'll get with this person. And then it would be a guaranteed hookup on a romantic side. I noticed on that show called The Love Boat, there was never any heavy confliction between couples. You never met anyone that was involved in a domestic violence situation. Like everything went routinely and smoothly, and it's like the guys didn't have to do a lot to impress the women like they would in this type of society outside of being on a boat. Yeah, I noticed that. So like the show was a marketing tool to get people to take cruises, but at the same time, it wanted people to seek out romance on such boat cruises too. I can't say that I went on such a cruise like that because I'm old school. Like I believe in staying on dry land, and when you spot a woman that you like, you approach her and then you give your best pickup line, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And with this Love Boat theme for romantic couples, it seemed mostly fictional and fantasy like, but still a lot of people tuned in because they were hopeful romantics as such. So, in other words, and listen very closely, people, even if you seek out romance on such a boat like the Love Boat, eventually you must step on dry land. So you have to carry that same magic off of the boat, and the same type of magic that you found on the boat when you picked up a woman, or a woman picked up a dude, whatever way it goes. Yeah. All right, folks. I'd appreciate it if you would give me those likes, comments, and please subscribe to Detroit Miracle.